The all-new Banalari Nexa showroom is now open at Mauyongrim near ISBT. Explore premium Nexa cars, book your favorite, and take a test drive. Nexa. Create, inspire.
The next-gen Tata Tiago. Dual-tone interior, dual smartphone deck but wireless charger, blind view monitor, but kiway. Take kumki kaliram, hagador kubajam, taksaw point riulak. Just wow.
Together we achieve, together we can fly, reaching for the sky.
ICFA University, Meghalaya.
Menteri Rabak Jela Konrad K Sangma haka arpsantrik unailar ajak penriau ula ong baya ka daulenong lum Pongdeng kabahe lai penriau akar shim lakin thop ru haka Projek Shna Umïam 5-star hotel u Konrad ula ai ya kani kajing pecai ha Jubab ya kajing ya tai lingkot halor sipot likimat ka VPP Pelawan ra dau MLA kanong krem uba Arden Miller Basewman haka dorba senrai ka ying dorba thau ai Menteri Rangba ula ya ke Jubab ru ba shim ladon kanu ke jing khang pat ba ya ke jing ti mau bat ti syam bat ka jing ti pat ba ka balong kat kum ka an kadang sya ladon ke jing IY ka jing yo ya ke environmental clearance bat kiwe ki jing ajing bet ha ka bai dai bat kinoi kai Konrad Sangma ula ong ba ka MTET kam dei ka policy jong sarkar jela ndai ka dei ka an jong sarkar Padang hapo ka RTE Act 2000 kandai haba keren halor ka Meghalaya Private Colleges Act 2000 pesan u Konrad Sangma ula ong ba ka an ka pen klan ya ka jingada ya ka jing sakri jong ki nong tre ling ba ka aided college fund bat ki audit ha ka bai dei bat ka MPSC bat ka DSC ula ong ba ka jing tre kam laj luot jong ka MPSC ka hap hapo ka article lais pa khat riu bat lais pa khat nyo bat hapo ka lokayukta ule thu ba ki jing pen kala kat kom ki jing ajing mot jong ka committee balakhle do Professor David Imle ki kanthop ya ka syllabus ka bala dep pen lupa ka automated processing ki examine OMR ki answer ki badan kapor nyos ngi ban pen sngo ya ka jing persya bat ka jing pen mi online ya ki marks ha ka bai dei bat ki karkhana ko bat ki karkhana Shna debilat Konrad Sangma ule thu ba saupu sautli ki karkhana be an lapen pra ha unaitung arja pulai bat arpu pratli haus nam arja pusan ha West Khasi Hills bat East Gente Hills ule thu ru ba khat waitli ki karkhana Shna debilat ha East Gente Hills kidang don hapo ka online monitoring bat shim lasha ya kanuk no karkhana ban trekam klem ka consent to establish bat ka consent to operate.
So the first issue which I would like to address is the depoliticization of the recruitment under the MPSC and the DSC. Sir, it must be placed on record that the independence of the MPSC from political interference is not a matter left to executive discretion. It is a constitutional guarantee. The chairman and members of the commission are appointed by the governor under Article 316 of the Constitution of India. Under Rule 4 and 5 of the MPSC Regulations, 1972, the commission consists of a chairman and 4 members holding office for a term of 6 years or until attaining the age of 62 years, whichever is earlier. Crucially, the chairman or any member can be removed from office only in the manner provided under Clause 1 and 3 of the Article 317 of the Constitution, and the conditions of service of a member cannot be varied to their disadvantage after appointment. Further, the MPSC falls within the jurisdiction of the Meghalaya Lokayukta, constituted under the Meghalaya Lokayukta Act 2014. Any allegations of bribery or favoritism is subject to independent statutory scrutiny, entirely outside the control of the government of the day. Now let me place on record the reforms that this government has undertaken. In November 2024, we constituted a dedicated MPSC Reforms Committee chaired by Professor David Imle, himself a former chairman of the Union Public Service Commission. It consulted the public, and we implemented its report. Today, any candidate or citizen can be rest assured that the syllabus, the candidate to vacancy ratio, and the selection process are pre-declared in the advertisement itself. Discretion is removed before the process begins. Number 2, applications are scrutinized through automatic recruitment processing software. Number 3, OMR-based examinations are tamper-resistant and auditable, with answer keys published after every exam, with 7 full days to challenge them. D, the marks of every qualified candidate across the screening test, interview, and the totals are published on the MPSC website, with individual marks viewable at every stage through the portal megrecruitment.nic.in/RPA marks. /RPA marks. E, a public facilitation center has been established to handle candidate inquiries and provide necessary information. Additionally, the grievances cell of the MPSC is available for receiving representations or grievances from candidates through an online portal, rpa.meghalaya.gov.in/MPSE grievance. Sir, I shall now address the concerns relating to the district selection committees. These committees handle recruitment to district level posts under the offices and establishments of districts and subdivisions that do not fall within the purview of the MPSC or the departmental selection committees. They are created to conduct recruitment to local posts close to the communities served, while maintaining fairness, transparency, and administrative efficiency. The present composition of the DSC, a chairperson, a non-official vice chairman, 2 non-official members, and a member secretary, is not an ad hoc arrangement. It has remained unchanged since 1982 and has been consciously reviewed and retained by successive governments over more than 4 decades. This continuity reflects a deliberate administrative judgment that balances official oversight with community participation. A fundamental objective of the DSC framework is to build local oversight into recruitment. The inclusion of non-official members brings the perspective of communities served by the district administration and keeps decision-making inclusive. At present, the chairman and member secretary are already senior officers of the district administration. If the vice chairman and other members were also made official appointments, the committee would become entirely bureaucratic, with no independent community-facing presence. Such a structure may appear streamlined, but it could weaken public confidence in the fairness of district recruitment. Alongside this representative composition, the government has already put several safeguards in place to protect the integrity of the process. These include, number 1, videography at examination venues and an enhanced number of invigilators to deter and detect unfair means during written examinations. Number 2, merit lists based solely on aggregate marks in the written exams and interviews wherever applicable. Written examination marks kept in sealed covers, opened only at final evaluation after the interviews. And publication of written examinations results on the notice board in order of serial or roll number immediately after declaration. These measures have strengthened the credibility of DSC across districts. So while the core principles have remained sound, experience shows that different districts have at times followed varying practices in vacancy scrutiny, examination schemes, question paper setting, evaluation, answer key finalization, interviews and declaration of results. And because of these practices evolved through multiple office memoranda, executive instructions and circulars, there is at present no single consolidated procedural framework. And this has caused avoidable inconsistencies, delay, and litigation risks. Sir, the government has therefore decided, I repeat, sir, the government has therefore decided to introduce a comprehensive standard operating procedure that harmonizes all existing instructions into a single, sequential, and legal coherent framework applicable across all districts. The SOP establishes a uniform, transparent, and legal robust recruitment framework aimed at merit-based selection, equal opportunity, adherence to government rules, administrative efficiency, accountability, and a verifiable audit trail. 2. It defines the composition, powers, and responsibilities of the DSC and segregates functions to prevent conflict of interest. Major decisions on examination schemes, answer keys, results, and selection lists must be taken collectively with proper documentation and approval. C. All persons associated with recruitment must give confidentiality undertakings and conflict of interest declarations. Any breach may invite disciplinary or legal action. D. Recruitment shall begin only after a complete approved intimation of vacancies from the concerned departments after approval of the reservation roster. The prescribed sequence, vacancy notification, advertisement, examinations, qualifying test, written examinations, and interview, where applicable, and declaration of results must be strictly followed. And the process shall be ordinarily completed within 6 months from advertisement to final selection. Knowledge of local language is a mandatory eligibility criteria, tested through a separate local language proficiency paper on a qualifying basis. A candidate must secure at least 30 out of 100 marks. Failure results in disqualification without evaluation of other papers. And so this is being done also in line with the fact that we have brought the act or the bill to include Khasi and Garo as official language. And it is with that spirit we are continuing to implement this aspect and this mandatory eligibility criteria. So I repeat, for all the other communities who may be concerned, that this is an eligibility criteria, which means you have to score only 30 out of 100. So whether you score 31 or 90 or 99, it does not affect your marks. You simply have to qualify in this particular language proficiency exam, and this has been made mandatory in the DSC. F, the advertisement must clearly disclose vacancies, eligibility, examination scheme, syllabus, qualifying marks, local language requirement, application dates, indicative timelines, and grievance mechanisms. Applications should ordinarily be received through a secure online system with appropriate data safeguards. The SOP guards against malpractice through multiple question paper sets or randomized computer-based papers, independent modernization, identity verification, and attendance recording. Evaluation shall be sequential, beginning with the local language proficiency paper. H. Provisional answer keys are to be published within 7 days of the examination, followed by an online objection window. Objections are examined by independent subject experts, and a final answer key is approved by the DSC for evaluation. While applicable, interview marks shall not exceed 12 points. Where applicable, interview marks shall not exceed 12.5% of the total marks for final merit. It also reiterates the discontinuation, and I repeat, sir, it also reiterates the discontinuation of interviews for Group D posts. Results should ordinarily be declared within 30 days of completing each stage, and merit lists prepared in accordance with the prescribed rules and reservation roster. Sir, very soon the government has also decided that we will move for removal of the interview process in other grades also. So very soon in the cabinet, the grade C, the non-technical post, and others, wherever it is permitted and wherever the UPSC is following the procedures, we will be also following those procedures and will be removing the interview aspect in different groups also in the days to come. So the SOP requires publication of cutoff marks, merit lists, and final selection list. A dedicated grievance cell shall dispose of grievances ordinarily within 15 days, and recruitment records are to be preserved securely for at least 5 years or until related litigation concludes, whichever is later. Sir, the government's objective is not merely to conduct recruitment, but to ensure that recruitment is transparent, merit-based, locally responsive, and publicly credible. The existing DSC composition has been retained over decades because it balances administrative oversight with community participation. At the same time, the government recognizes the need for continuous improvement and is introducing this comprehensive SOP to further strengthen fairness, consistency, and accountability in the district level recruitment across the state. Sir, in the course of the different points that were mentioned, Honorable Member from Nongkrem had mentioned about a particular case in one of the districts. I am to inform the House that the matter is in High Court as of now, and therefore it will not be appropriate for me to respond. We will have to wait for the court's decision, and hence that particular matter is sub judice, and hence I will refrain from going into details of that. But I would like to inform the House that there is a hearing or this case that is going on in the High Court. So second point was stop job extensions to retired employees. So this premise that extending service of retired employees blocks opportunities for the youth is not true. So let me clarify that re-employment of retired officers is, number one, very rare, very, very rare, sir. And even if it is done for a very short period and in a handful of cases. And it does not block the youth unemployment because it is the re-employment, sir, of the retired officer concerned. So the appointments which the honorable members point to are to statutory bodies like the State Information Commission, the Farmers Commission, the State Food Commission, the Public Service Delivery Commission, and the Real Estate Regulatory Authority. These are not service extensions, but appointments that the law prescribes to be of significant domain expertise and duration of experience. Section 22 of the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016 mandates that the chairperson and members shall be appointed from amongst persons having adequate knowledge of and professional experience of at least 15 to 20 years in urban development, housing, real estate development, infrastructure, economics, technical expertise from relevant fields like planning, law, commerce, accountancy, industry, management, social service, public affairs, or administration. Section 15 of the Right to Information Act 2005 prescribes that the State Chief Information Commissioner respectively shall be appointed from amongst persons of eminence in public life, with wide knowledge and experience in law, science and technology, social service, management, journalism, mass media, or administration and governance. Similarly, Section 16 of the National Food Security Act 2013 prescribes that the chairperson and members of the State Food Commission shall be appointed from amongst persons who are or have been member of the All India Service or any other civil service of the Union or state, or holding a civil post under the Union or state, having knowledge and experience in matters related to food security, policy making, and administration in the field of agriculture, civil supplies, nutrition, health, or any allied field. Sir, I would also like to place on record the details of employment opportunities provided to the youth over the last 3 years. Sir, over 9,000 vacancies have been advertised in the last 3 years. 1,011 appointments were made through MPSC alone. 2,413 police vacancies have been filled through the Central Recruitment Board. 769 doctors have been appointed through the Meghalaya Medical Services Recruitment Board. 1,686 appointments were made through the DSC. So therefore, this recruitment set took place in the last 3 years alone. Sir, I also would like to mention here that there were certain mentions or certain points that were made regarding the appointments that were made on ad hoc basis, and the fact that they've been there for 17 years and not been regularized. So for the knowledge and information of the House, the members, and the public at large, sir, ad hoc appointments, as per definition, are appointments that were made on a sanctioned post, receiving the scale that is meant for that sanctioned post. But the appointment which was made on an ad hoc basis, not following the necessary procedures of selection, which means there was no advertisement, there was no process that was followed, and the concerned officer at that point in time, against the sanctioned post, appointed a person without following procedure. In legal terms, sir, that would be an illegal appointment. These ad hoc appointments, sir, continued for years. In 2007, when the Supreme Court came out with a verdict against a case where the ad hoc employees were demanding to be regularized, the Supreme Court gave us two options. Option number one was to remove all these ad hoc employees and go for fresh recruitment. Or number two, to go ahead and recruit and regularize through a procedure, regularize these ad hoc employees who have been working for many, many years. And 2007, December was put as a cutoff date. So the cabinet had a decision, or rather had the choice of removing these ad hoc employees. But realizing that these people have been working while the process was not followed, These people have been working in that post for decades, some of them. Some of them appointed in 1995, 98. And hence the government and the cabinet at that point in time took a decision that we will regularize these employees. The court is giving us a choice. We will take this choice and regularize. And we did, sir. And now through the different procedures, because the departments also don't have all the records. In the first batch, 2,000 names came to us. Second batch, another 1,000 plus names came to us. Third batch, again another 1,000 names came to us. And the fourth batch, another 45 names came to us. So through the last 3 years, multiple departments have sent, sir, we missed out these 5 people. Sir, we missed out these 20 people. So the ad hoc employees pre-December 2007, based on this Supreme Court order, were regularized. Now, why can't we do it for the people up beyond December 2007? So because the court will not permit that. The court gave us an option. Today, if we go ahead and regularize an employee who was not recruited following the procedure, post 2007 December, and if somebody goes to court, then court will question the government as to how we regularized this process when in the first place the recruitment procedure was not followed. So hence it is not a simple matter where somebody says, why aren't we recruiting employee, why aren't we regularizing an ad hoc employee? So obviously we also feel for our people. We also realize that we need to help and support wherever possible. But we need to work under certain regulations. We need to work under certain procedures. And that is the reason why employees who are appointed post-2007 on an ad hoc basis, sir, please, again I repeat, that this ad hoc means sanctioned post, but while appointment was done, recruitment process was not followed. So technically it's an illegal appointment. But we got the option from Supreme Court to regularize pre-December 2007, and we took it. Sir, also there's a lot of issue about master roles and casual employees. Sir, you will be happy to know, and the House will be happy to know, and the employees will be happy to know, sir, that apart from the maternal mortality rate that we addressed, and I was mentioning in my question hour, so the salaries to the master roles was one of the top priorities when we took over in 2018. And I'll tell you why, sir. This is the reason, sir, this happened was because of the regular meetings of Disha. As a member of parliament, I used to go for Disha meetings. And whenever I used to go for the Disha meetings, the maternal mortality issue would come out. The money for the old age pension would come out. And the salary of the master role would come out, inevitably, because I used to have a public hearing after every Disha meeting. And in 2016-17, when I was having these Disha meetings, I could see that everywhere, every Disha meeting, every district, this was, a major issue. So we decided in 2018, of course it took us about a year to implement, that we will ensure that money is released in advance to the different departments for master roles. Now, sir, please you have to remember, these are heads of accounts which we have to release to every department. So master role is not like one head, sir. Under PWD is a separate one. Under PHE, again separate. Under agriculture, again separate. Under water resources, again different. Under all departments, so about 8-9 departments are there, major ones, where the master roles are there. And hence we have to get the demand from them, and then we release the money to each one. Now this process, sir, has been quite smooth in say PWD and PHE and the larger ones, like even in health, it's smooth. But sir, and in the last 7 years, I'm sure you can ask any of the master roles, things are far more regular than they were before. Not that I'm trying to compare, but I'm just giving a basic idea. The payments are far more regular, and now that since the things are regular, sir, the expectation also is that there cannot be a delay for more than even a month or 2 months. Whereas there were times when there was delay for 9 months, sometimes a whole year. But that is not the point, sir. So we are ensuring that the master role amounts are released. There could be glitches once in a while, sir. Sometimes a new chief engineer comes in, or a new finance person comes in. Sometimes the files take time. They miss out that particular quarter's amount. These kind of small issues do come up, sir. And we are happy to address them. and we're happy to ensure that that we take steps immediately to rectify the problems. And whenever these informations come to me, I'm the first one to call the concerned department and finance department to release that amount. So if there are any issues in the muster roll cases, sir, we are very happy to resolve it. We have always believed in the principle that every single person working in the government must get their salaries on time, whether you are a permanent employee or whether you're a muster roll, you are serving the people, and therefore we go with that principle. There could be shortcomings, sir. I don't disagree to that. There could be, and we rectify it. And if there are any cases where more needs to be done, so we'll be happy to personally look into this matter. Again, as I said, sir, we have a very strong system called the CM Connect 1971 number. Anybody can call that number and ensure that these things are taken care of. So the employment creation has not been confined only to government and public sector recruitment. Alongside direct public employment, the government has also runs several livelihood and entrepreneurship programs, which have created income-generating opportunities for the youth and the citizens of Meghalaya, sir. So since 2019, the state government has created, sir, and I'll repeat this, sir, since 2019, the state government has created over 3.6 lakh livelihood opportunities across sectors, demonstrating that government's employment strategy extends beyond sanction posts to enterprise creation and self-employment based livelihood. So in the last 3 years, about 50,000 wage and self-employment opportunities have been created for our youth, sir. So here I would also like to share, because some of the members had mentioned that that this government is for outsiders, and it's a statement or a feeling that individuals may have, and the honourable member may have, sir. But these 3.6 lakhs jobs that we created, so these are not outsiders. These are youth of our state. They are benefiting today from the economic growth that we're having. The farmers whom we are helping today, every day, these farmers are not outsiders. There are many schemes that are being given to them. These are farmers from our state who are benefiting, whether it's a CM Assure program, whether it's a CM Farm Plus program, or whether it's the Focus and the Focus Plus programs. It is the farmers, our own farmers, and not outsiders who are benefiting. When the MGMP program takes place, where there are 8,000 of our youth and talented musicians who are today being supported, close to 50 crores has been distributed to these artists in the last 4 years. 50 crores, sir. Which means on an average about 12 crores every year goes to 8,000 artists. They perform in some place and the government pays for it. These MGMP artists are not from outside, sir. They are very much from our state. The 5 lakh self-help groups who are being supported with thousands of crores from NRLM, Government of India Fund, and our own state fund, and from different EAPs. So these are not outsiders. These are women, self-help groups, hard-working women from our state who are being supported. The homestays, more than 1,000 homestays that we have created in the last 4-5 years, and another 3,000 we're going to add. So these are again not people from outside. They are people from our own state who are benefiting. The hundreds of prime tourism vehicles and the prime agriculture vehicles who are getting the benefit. Again, sir, these are not outsiders, sir. These are all people from our state. And hence, when it comes to job creation and employment, this government has put that as one of the top priorities. I keep repeating this, sir, because for any government, and I can share this with you with full confidence, for any government, the number one challenge today, especially in India, is employment. It's not just Meghalaya, it's the entire country. Everybody's rushing for investments so that industries can come up, local industries can be promoted. Why? It's not because they want the investment to come in. It is because what the investment coming in then leads to and creates. And that's why, sir, economic growth and economic policy cannot be just simply seen from one lens. When you see an economic policy and a strategy, you have to see the entire spectrum. It's like looking at the rainbow and just saying that, we just look at the violet or the red or the blue or the green. You can't see it just in one color. You must see the entire impact of what an economic policy and what investment does. And that's why economics and policy making and governance are very complicated subjects. And yes, there are some areas sometimes we find that we're not maybe doing the things in the best efficient manner. We pull back, sir. Our government has never hesitated from taking a step back if we find that we are maybe not going in the right way. And then we do course correction and we move forward. And that's how things happen, sir. So therefore, let me assure the honorable member and the House and the citizens, and especially the youth, sir, that all of these programs, the 3.6 lakh jobs created in the last 5 years, this is for the youth of our state, sir. So the next point is the securing of secure Meghalaya by stopping illegal influx. So for over 50 years, the border issue was left at status quo. In March 2022, this government signed an MOU with the government of Assam and resolved 6 of the 12 areas of differences. Tarabari in West Khasi Hills, Gizang West Khasi Hills, Hahim in West Khasi Hills, Boklapara, Khanapara, and Ratachera. Sir, these are not easy decisions. These are not simple decisions. So they are very, very complicated and vexed decisions. But the government has ensured that we strengthen the border security by ensuring that our land is protected at the border area. So with utmost, respect to all the past governments, we have seen how complicated this was, and hence for many, many decades, we could not move forward in this issue. But realizing the challenge and always maintaining that principle in our hearts. So we have a very strong principle we always believe. And that principle is that there is a purpose of why we are here today. There is a reason why God has given us this opportunity. And we will ensure that we do everything in our capacity to resolve problems that could not be resolved in the past. To do things that decades later, 50 years later, people will look back and say that it was this government that did these works. And this is that principle that drives us even today to take some of the toughest decisions that we have taken. I'm sure, sir, I don't want to list all the decisions, but they have been very tough for us. But we did it with that simple principle that we are here to make a difference. Sir, along the Indo-Bangladesh and interstate border, 18 anti-infiltration checkposts and check gates. Sorry, I just have some water. A railway facilitation center and a land custom station have been established, sir. So district special squads have also been stationed at the headquarters of all 12 districts to conduct extensive anti-infiltration drives. So border management is a security function undertaken in close coordination between the state and the BSF. The BSF being stationed near the international border serves as the first line of defense, while the state police deployed at nearby police stations, outposts and checkposts provide the second line of defense. Surveillance is maintained through regular joint patrolling and Naka checking along the international borders. Electronic surveillance equipments, including high-density lights, has also been installed at strategic locations to deter illegal intrusion. To strengthen the detection of illegal infiltration and regularly monitor anti-infiltration measures, the government has constituted 12 district task forces for the detection of Bangladeshi nationals. These task forces undertake regular checking and special drives. Surprise checks are also conducted once every month by joint teams comprising a magistrate, personnel of district police force, and staff of the infiltration branch. A state-level committee headed by the Principal Secretary or Secretary Home, Political, has been constituted to identify foreigners residing illegally in the state. The committee is mandated to identify foreigners who have overstayed since 1st of January 2011 and submit monthly reports to the Ministry of Home Affairs. In addition, a lead intelligence agency mechanism with the Border Security Forces as the nodal authority conducts regular coordination meetings with the Meghalaya Police, Central Paramilitary Forces, and Central Intelligence Agencies. Nokmas, headmen, and village defense parties in border villages have been actively engaged in strengthening border security. Regular awareness programs on cross-border crime and national security are conducted at the police station and outpost levels. Senior officers of the border district also visit border villages regularly to understand the difficulties faced by residents, and on several occasions have stayed overnight in these villages to build confidence among the local communities. So I also would like to add that very recently we have revisited the village defense party scheme that is there, and we have enhanced the scheme and figured out mechanisms in which we can engage even more constructively with the village defense parties to ensure that different equipments wherever necessary, different technologies, and obviously financial support be given, especially in very, very sensitive zones, sir. So this process also has started. About a year back, we revisited this whole thing, and I'm happy to inform the House that we have made considerable steps forward. But of course, it's a very large exercise, so we need to continue doing that. But the process is on today to engage with our villagers, because they are the best source of intel information to us that can come at, immediately on a real-time basis. So along the interstate border, regular alerts have been issued to districts sharing boundaries with Assam, directing them to put in place appropriate preventive measures against illegal entry, particularly in view of the recent eviction drive in Assam. Effective checking is being carried out along national highways and internal roads with the support of village headmen and village defense parties. Apart from infiltration from Bangladesh, the state also faces the entry of persons of doubtful citizenship from Assam, Tripura, and West Bengal, who claim to be residents of those states. Such people are sent back directly from the place of detection. So, to safeguard the demographic structure and the interest of the indigenous inhabitants of the state, the government enacted the Meghalaya Residents Safety and Security Act 2016. District task forces have been constituted in all the 12 districts under the Act, and an online application was launched in September 2022 in collaboration with NIC. To date, 966 localities, 561 sub-localities, 1,653 landlords, and 5,042 tenants have been registered. This represents an increase from the figure placed before the House in February 2026, with only 817 localities, 427 sub-localities, 1,110 landlords, and 3,297 tenants had been registered. So the government has also implemented the Meghalaya Identification, Registration, Safety and Security of Migrant Workers Act, which requires migrant laborers intending to work in the state to register with the Labour Department. So in this matter also, I would like to further mention that the facilitation center in Umïam area the work is under process. We are working towards ensuring that we make it functional at the earliest. And we'll ensure that all the tourists coming in, whatever support required, including, we have already mentioned this, there will be a food court also there. But along with the food court, there will be a facilitation center for our tourists. And this will be a similar thing which we will do in the Ratachera border side also, where a facilitation center is proposed. And we are going to move on that line also. And at the same time, sir, even in different parts of the state, the same process will be followed. For the Meghalaya Identification Registration of Migrant Workers Act 2020, So the rules have been finalized, and there were certain aspects of the rules which needed to be discussed after the amendment, and those discussions have taken place. And tomorrow in the cabinet, we will be passing those rules, and once those rules are passed, then we will be effectively able to implement all the provisions of this particular act. So the state border headquarters continues to issue regular alerts to the border districts, while local communities have been mobilized to promptly report instances of illegal entry to the authorities. So the next issue, the stop coke and cement plants. So the process of detection and demolition of illegal units is an ongoing activity being conducted by the Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board in conformity with all existing environmental laws. We are detecting coke plants operating without clearance and have abolished them. During phase 1 in July 2023, 44 plants were demolished, including 39 units in West Khasi Hills and 5 units in East Khasi Hills. During phase 2 in 2025, 28 demolitions were executed, including 17 units in West Khasi Hills and 11 units in East Jenti Hills. And hence, sir, we are taking prompt action, and as I said, we have demolished over 72 plants in the last 3 years. So 11 cement plants across East Jenti Hills have been inspected, sir. Their pollution control devices are linked to online monitoring. And the setting up of cement plants is strictly regulated through various rigorous environmental clearances under Environment Protection Act and through public hearing, etc. Sir, as mentioned by the mover of this particular short discussion, that the industries must comply. And that is again the principle that we also follow. And therefore, in every aspect, to ensure that we balance between development, economic development, and environment and ecology, laws are in place. And those laws must be complied to. And those who do not follow those laws and do not comply to it, action again is taken as per the provisions in the Act itself. And as I said, this government has never shied away. We have demolished 72 illegal coke plants in the last 3 years. And the message is quite clear and strong that anybody who will not follow the procedures, action will be taken against them as per law. So the establishment and operation of coke and cement plants are not permitted without obtaining the requisite statutory permissions, including consent to establish and consent to operate from the board, wherever applicable, along with other approvals required under prevailing environmental laws. In view of the above, sir, the government remains committed, as I mentioned, to ensuring that all industrial activities are carried out in compliance with environmental laws and statutory requirements. Regulatory inspections, regular inspections, continuous monitoring, and strict enforcement actions against violations will continue to protect environmental quality and public health in the state. Detect and deport illegal immigrants. So the state government has already put in place systems to tackle concerns regarding illegal immigration. Under the Meghalaya Resident Safety and Security Act 2016, verification is underway and 817 localities and 427 sub-localities in East Khasi Hills stand registered to date. The Anti-Infiltration Directorate is the nodal agency in the state for the detection and deportation of illegal immigrants, and the procedure is followed as per the directives of the Ministry of Home Affairs. From 2021 till date, 736 foreign nationals staying illegally in the state have been detected and prosecuted, and 262 have been deported after completing their sentence and obtaining travel permits from their respective missions. These figures reflect the firm commitment to uphold the rule of law and safeguard the state's security and demographic integrity. In view of the measures already in place, the government remains committed to ensuring that detection, verification and deportation of illegal immigrants are carried out in accordance with the law and established procedures. Continuous monitoring, interagency coordination, and regular enforcement actions will continue to strengthen border management and maintain public order in the state. Sir, the Pongdeng Island, spread across approximately 36 acres, has been totally excluded from the development ambit of the Umïam 5-star hotel. So if you remember, there was concerns that were raised by certain environment organizations. And looking at the concerns that were being raised, in spite of the fact that we had made it very clear that the Pongdeng Island will not be the main site of construction, but will only add as another area where temporary activities will take place. Suppose tomorrow we want to have a farmer's fair, or even to have a small wedding destination, it will be a unique kind of a selling point where a small stage can be constructed and overlooking the lake, marriages can take place. So it was with that intention to really give it a very unique experience for anybody planning their wedding. We thought that this would be a great way to give that unique distinction where it's not available in any part of the country, and would be the only state and only resort that would provide that kind of an experience. So it really was that thought process that was driving this project of ensuring that Pongdeng area would be part of it, but it would not be part of the main construction. It would be only an addition to it. But nonetheless, sir, as I've always mentioned, we are very much open to concerns. We are very much open to all the issues that are raised by the people. And as a government, we always believe that we must take the people along. And hence, based on that principle, realizing that people were concerned about this and were not totally agreeable to the way we were moving forward, we decided to remove Pongdeng from the Umïam 5-star hotel project that is there. And so therefore we have done it already, sir. So Pongdeng is not part of the project as mentioned, but the Umïam Taj and Spa Resort is on track, sir. And the process that is followed in this is that the land that is owned there by the government, where existing government infrastructure already is there, that is the land where this hotel will be built, sir. So I just wanted to give that clarification. I'll further give more, that the government is consistently engaged with stakeholders and remains sensitive to public concerns. Following representations made by Sinjukki Rangbashnong of Riboy and discussions held with the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister on 20th of April 2026, it was decided to exclude the island from the project. The island has accordingly been withdrawn from the concession agreement, and the requisite modifications are being undertaken to give effect to this decision. So it would be appropriate to place before this August House the relevant facts and developments concerning the project. The state government accords the highest priority to environmental protection, and all projects are designed and implemented in strict compliance with prescribed environmental safeguards, statutory requirements, and sustainability standards. Even prior to the issuance of the tender for the Umïam project, the empowered group of ministers under my chairmanship had decided in its meeting held on the 8th of July 2025 that no permanent structure would be allowed on Pongdeng Island. So we had already decided this aspect, that, but I guess there were different media propaganda which showed that construction was taking place in Pongdeng, which then made people believe that. But this decision that there would be no permanent structure was already taken on 8th of July 2025. Only temporary, non-intrusive and environmentally sustainable facilities designed using lightweight, modular and sustainable materials and capable of being dismantled or relocated were to be permitted. But this is just to mention, sir, now the island is not part of the project at all. This decision was subsequently incorporated into the tender issued by the Tourism Department on 23rd October 2025 and was made an integral part of the concession agreement executed on 25th of February 2026 between the Directorate of Tourism and Umïam Hotels Private Limited. The agreement expressly prohibited any permanent construction on Pongdeng Island and provided that all the new development would be confined to the site occupied by the existing Orchid Lake Resort. While existing forest regulations of both the state and the government of India permit construction on the Pongdeng Island, the state government went beyond regulatory requirements to ensure environmental protection. So I want to put this on record, sir, that though environment procedures and clearances allow certain construction to take place, we decided genuinely and consensuously that we will not allow any construction in Pongdeng, even before this issue became. So that's why when this issue came out, I kept repeating that we have already taken a decision not to put up anything there. But I guess whatever the issues were being raised were more, I guess, heard. And therefore, this kind of issue came up. But as I said, sir, since we had no intention, it did not impact the project at all. So we were happy to withdraw the Pongdeng Island from it, sir. So the consent of establish issued by the Meghalaya State Pollution Control Board contains an explicit condition that no permanent structure shall be allowed on Pongdeng Island. The CTE further provides that any violation of this condition shall render the approval liable for immediate revocation. It is also pertinent to note that the CTE is only a preliminary approval and does not by itself permit construction. Any project activity can proceed only after detailed project report is examined and approved by the Tourism Department strictly in accordance with the provisions of the concession agreement. Additionally, let me address the issue of privatization unequivocally. Under every tourism PPP project in the state, ownership of the land remains with the government of Meghalaya. The land is leased only for implementation of the projects that create employment for our youth. The Umïam project and every other tourism project implemented by the state government have followed due process and upheld the highest standards of transparency. Private partners were selected only after meeting stringent technical, sustainability, and eligibility criteria. Similarly, public-private partnership models have been successfully adopted in several nationally and internationally recognized sustainable tourism destinations, including Bhutan, where such frameworks have facilitated responsible tourism development while ensuring environmental stewardship, retention of public ownership, and job opportunities for our locals. And I also would like to address, sir, that when any kind of these partnerships or these kind of projects come in, there are always a partnership that takes place, sir, and there is scope for that. And therefore, the Taj Group had made their own partnership agreement with whichever partner that they are comfortable with. Taj cannot be forced to do something which they don't want to do. It is their desire, it is their decision. And therefore, this particular partnership on this conglomeration of partners and groups came together and they bid it. And Taj has got very, very strict, especially since this is Taj Spa and Resort, one of the top brands of Taj. So Taj has multiple brands. So they have the Ginger, they have Vivanta, then they have Taj, and then they have the Taj Spa and Resort. So this is the top brand that the Taj group has. And therefore, the functioning, the management, and all aspects, Taj is very, very, very particular, even to the extent of what kind of, different designers or what kind of different materials will be used. There is a very detailed SOP, with just not Taj, sir. Every large hotel group and chain, they have their procedures cut out. And let me show the house that that is how we will ensure that this particular aspect is also incorporated in this project. And let me show the house, as I said, that this is a very prestigious project for us, sir. We are very happy today that all other development aspects also are in line. We expect our airport also to be in line and operational in terms of the larger aircrafts very soon, sir. I don't want to give a date because obviously there are challenges, but the process is on now and we are on track. At the same time, sir, the expressway will come up in the long run. So all of these aspects will make this destination a very, very, very viable, at the same time, a very popular destination in the long run. And we expect that because of that, the footfall will increase. And once we have this footfalls increasing in this area, sir, these people will go out and, and involve in activities around that region, which will be activities that will then further be run by our own local people. And all local economy, the ecosystem of the economy will develop. And that is how, sir, economy moves forward. So one has to understand when economic development is involved, when projects are involved, it is not just the project, but what it does to the entire ecosystem that is there. It converts the entire space into a different economic zone because the spending capacity goes up, money flowing in terms of the tourist spending, in terms of the hotel spending, in terms of the allied activities that are required. All of these activities leads to the growth and the job opportunities that we all are talking about. So here, the honorable member had mentioned about certain groups, saying that, oh, it seems this group has got. Sir, in a country like ours, there are mechanisms. Everything is free and fair and transparent, sir. So anybody who is capable, anybody who's fulfills the criteria, anybody who's able to technically qualify in this aspect is free to apply and free to be participate, sir. There were many people, sir, who participated in this and other projects. And that's how the process happens, sir. And if a certain group, whoever the group may be, sir, I don't want to name A, B, C, D, but there's a procedure. And if a certain group manages to do things better than, say, another group, I think that's how tendering, that's how selection process happens. And that is something, because one individual gets it, other doesn't get it, we try to, shape it and look at it in a different way. So that would be completely incorrect, sir. So today, every single aspect of whatever we do as a government, whatever tender process is there, whatever selection process is there, is all under scrutiny, sir. And everything is transparent, and anybody is free to look into all of those aspects, and audit is there, and so many aspects are there, sir. So therefore, I think I don't want to dwell too much into those aspects. But as I said, we are very clear, sir. We follow a free and transparent and a fair process, and that is how all the development aspects are done, sir. Stop harassment of teachers and withdraw anti-teacher policy. So the teacher eligibility test is not a state policy, sir. So they were mentioning about the MTET. Now the teacher eligibility test is not a state policy, sir. It is a central law. It flows from the right of children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009. And it has been made binding by the Honorable Supreme Court of India in its judgment of 1st of September 2025. So the Supreme Court has directed that every in-service teacher of class 1 to 8 with more than 5 years of service left must clear the TET by 31st of August 2028. Teachers with less than 5 years left need not clear it to continue. So this judgment binds all governments and this House alike, and every action that we take should be within the framework of the Constitution. However, the government continues, sir, to adopt various measures for the well-being of the teachers. Sir, I personally took up the matter to raise the concerns of the teachers with the Honorable Union Minister of Education. The state government itself filed a review petition before the Supreme Court against the retrospective effect of this judgment. And the largest teacher organization body, the Meghalaya SSA Teachers Association, has independently done the same. In view of the welfare of teachers, especially those who are seniors and experienced, the state government is providing for MTET and to be conducted frequently so that the teacher's service is not jeopardized. Sir, I want to also very clearly mention in this aspect that when it came to this particular test, the Supreme Court mandated the TET. Now, some of our teachers had taken many eligibility tests in the past. And so the teachers argued, why are we having to go through this again? And that's a very valid point, sir. So what we have told them is that we have now put up a review petition in the Supreme Court. Now, if the review petition says that the old test which we conducted is equally applicable to this, we won't have to conduct the test anymore. But what if the Supreme Court says, no, it is not? Then we are back to square one. So our suggestion and request to the teachers was, the best way to resolve this forever is just conduct this MTET once and for all. And this is not a marks thing. It's about 158 marks. If I may be wrong, 1 or 2 points here and there. You have to only qualify. So out of 158, you have to get 50 marks, something like that, plus minus. Which means any teacher who gets 51 or who gets 149, both are qualified, sir. So this is not something that is you're going to be judged based on the marks you get. You simply have to qualify. So that is the fix that we were in from the Supreme Court, from the teachers, and from the procedure that we had to follow. And hence we requested and we talked to the teachers. I had talks with them at my level, sir. Closed door meeting, open door meeting, whatever you call it, sir. And we figured out how to move forward, and we explained to them that it's not something that we want to do. We don't want to force you to do anything. But we have a situation here. How do we handle this situation? If tomorrow Supreme Court says the old tests taken are not acceptable by Supreme Court, we will be in a position or situation where then we will have no choice, and Supreme Court will say, now terminate those teachers. What do we do then? And that is not what we want to do. And hence, let's prepare from now on to avoid that situation in case Supreme Court comes up with that particular order. And that is the background, sir, of this particular examination. But I'm very happy, sir, that a lot of teachers have participated. We have seen positive participation. Of course, challenges will always be there, but there'll be multiple rounds and teachers will be given multiple opportunities to clear this eligibility test. And we are still waiting for the Supreme Court's order. We hope that will come out in our favor, which will then ensure that most of the teachers will not have to take this particular MTET if the old test taken by them is also recognized by the Supreme Court, sir. So the Education Department has also prepared a category-wise database of serving elementary teachers, recording details of qualification, years of service left, and whether promotion is sought, among others. This exercise is essentially taken to ensure that the Supreme Court's direction should not be applied mechanically to every teacher without first determining the category into which the individual teachers falls. Thus, every effort is being taken to safeguard the interests of teachers while ensuring compliance with the Supreme Court ruling. So, sir, in conclusion for this point, I'm just going to conclude in the right note that it is not something that the state government is forcing. It is a ruling of the Supreme Court which we are having to implement, but we are ensuring that we are in touch with the teachers to facilitate the process on how we can minimize the inconvenience for them. So we are working together, sir, and I hope that we will be able to, move forward and cross this particular bridge and resolve this particular issue. So another apprehension that has been raised in this regard to the Meghalaya Private College Promotion Regulation Act 2025. So I wish to assure this august House that the Act nowhere takes away the service, security or standing of the teaching and non-teaching staff of private colleges, sir. On the contrary, it strengthens their position. So the maintenance of aided college fund, the regular audit of accounts, and government grant in aid, having a clear legal framework under the Act, are meant to safeguard the funds out of which college teachers are paid. The Act seeks to ensure that these funds are properly accounted for and utilized for the purposes for which they are meant. Sir, again, this is a very strong and wrong misconception that a lot of people have, that this government is against, our private colleges and ad hoc colleges. Today's answer. That we are against different colleges and private schools and deficit. Sir, today there was a question in the question hour. The question didn't come, sir, but I'll just refer to that question to share some points about the fact that how government of Meghalaya for many, many years, sir, has been supporting the different deficit colleges, sir. So just to share without giving names, I don't want to go into names, sir, but government of Meghalaya, so I'll just go to the question, sir. Sir, the question asked today, the annual grant in aid released towards salary of private college teachers in the state, sir. So this is annual amount. So the answer is 186 crores is released annually towards salary of 1,166 lecturers in private colleges. And just to share with the House, sir, there are some colleges where government, these are deficit colleges, where government is giving close to 25 crores a year for one college. And there are another 3-4 colleges, some are getting 15 crores a year only for salaries. And these are all private colleges, deficit colleges. And as I said, 186 crores is being given to 1,166 lecturers. In fact, sir, the maximum amount, the second question asks, what is the maximum amount a private college teacher gets? So the state government is paying, sir. Let me again reiterate. So the maximum amount, the salary the teacher gets or lecturer gets, one of them, which is the highest, sir, is 46,64,000 a year. Government of Meghalaya pays, which roughly comes up to about 4.5 lakhs per month to one teacher, sir, one lecturer of a deficit college. And that is more than what Chief Secretary or in fact Chief Minister or anybody gets, sir. So 4.5 lakhs per month is given to one particular professor and lecturer. And like that, so there are many others who are given large amounts. So my point is not to bring out the amount that they get. My point is to let the House know that it is incorrect to say that government does not care about them. It is because we care for them and for the education system that we are giving this money. So 186 crores every year. This is not a one-time amount, sir. Every year for 1,166 teachers we spend, and these are not government teachers, sir. These are all private teachers, but government. So we do care, sir, is what I'm trying to say. We do care. If we had not cared, we would just simply stop everything. And we're not stopping, sir. We are, of course, restructuring and we're trying to see how to make it more efficient. Because, again, sir, in the same colleges, we have a lot of discrepancies. Some of the professors are getting 4,50,000, whereas there are some of the lecturers teaching the same subject, they're getting 30,000, 50,000. So there's a discrepancy there also because they're not under the, under the scale that is being given under deficit. So these are challenges, sir, that are in front of us. Again, I don't mean to bring it out in the House and, create a, noise about it. But I think saying that we are not bothered, I think is incorrect, sir. We are very much bothered. Today, Meghalaya is the only state which has close to 4,300 plus institutes which are supported, private institutes supported by government of Meghalaya. No other states provide that, sir. Where our grant in aid that we give to schools is touching 1,200 crores every year in salary. Every year to private schools, private colleges, and yes, including SSA and others, we give close to 1,200 crores just for salaries, sir. So therefore, I think this notion that we are against education, sir, is absolutely incorrect. If there is any government that supports the education system, especially our private schools and colleges, if there's any government, it is the Meghalaya government that does it, sir. Sir, I also would like to highlight that the Act, sir, I mentioned earlier, provides for the welfare of college employees, sir. So the government has been empowered to frame rules for benefits granted to the employees of aided colleges, thus protecting them from arbitrary decisions. The requirement that colleges furnish the names and qualifications of their teaching and non-teaching staff further creates a proper and updated record of those in service. Any entitlement that are to be given shall be based on these proper records. Any concerns of teachers regarding service conditions can be fully considered and accommodated at the rule-making stage. 5 subcommittees comprising principals and representatives of private colleges from different parts of the state were constituted to examine specific areas including establishment and permissions, aid, finance and fees regulation, accounts and returns, infrastructure and use of premises, inspection and compliance. Thus, this ensures that the concerns of teachers are heard and considered. Sir, also, when an honorable member who has raised this short duration had mentioned that, the different aspects of the status of the college teachers and the UGC grant and other aspects are being tampered with or are being changed or are being rather deleted. So this also, as I said, is not true, sir. So anybody who is working and receiving the UGC scale are not being touched. I must be very clear on that, sir. They are not being touched. Simply because we realize that we cannot change what has already been going on for years, sir. But yes, we are working towards how to make things more efficient in the future. Now, I gave an example, sir, that in the same college, there are lecturers who are getting 4.5 lakh rupees per month. And there are same college, the lecturers in the same subject, maybe they're more senior, sir, but getting 20,000, 30,000, 50,000. So the college also, since it's a private college, desires to rationalize the amounts that are being paid to the teachers. So the teachers and the lecturers who are getting very less, can the college be given the necessary power to then rationalize? That is actually the debate that's going on, sir. And we have not come to any conclusion. Because we understand that the lecturers and teachers also want their scale. Those who are on the scale and who have applied for the scale. They should get, sir. But there is also a concern that's saying that now this is a private school. It's a private college, not a government. So what about those who are not getting scale? They are at 1/10 of what the others are getting. So the college management is in a big dilemma. And they're trying to rationalize. Now in this whole thing, we are facilitating that discussion. Does that mean that we're going to cut from somewhere and put somewhere? No. We are only discussing, sir. Should we discuss it? We should, sir. We should discuss. We should figure out. And then decide together what we need to do. So we have not come to any discussion. There are different concerns. As a government, sir, we have to listen to everybody's concern. Now those teachers coming in, that management committee coming in and telling us that, sir, can we distribute the funds? So the grant is now given to the teachers directly. Can you give that to the managing committee? And the managing committee will rationalize and give the same to all. Now, is that correct or wrong? I'm not saying it, sir. Neither am I saying it's right, neither am I saying it's wrong. But I'm saying that it is a concern being raised by the managing committee, which is genuine. Should we listen to that or not? We should. Should we give that a thought? We should. Should we do it or not? Is another story altogether. So therefore, sir, today, the honorable members jumping to the conclusion that that's what we want to do. I want to assure the House, sir, we are in deep consultation. We are trying to reform the system. We're not trying to harm anybody. We're trying to see how we can make things better. Maybe a larger public debate would be good. Maybe public can start discussing about it. Maybe intellectuals can start discussing about it and say what is the best rational way to move forward and save the unnecessary criticism coming on us that we are trying to destroy people's careers. So we are not. We are not. We're pulled from all angles and we're being asked to do this by this group. We're being asked to do by this by group. Then somebody picks up one particular statement made and saying that no, they're against the teachers. That is not the case, sir. And I think the fact that it was this government that has finally now given a structured pay to the ad hoc as well as the SSA teachers, sir. An issue that was pending for decades again, sir. And these teachers every year would come to the government and every year they would be on the streets. Today, because of the work of the Education Minister, the Education Department, our Commissioner Secretary, and all concerned, and the associations, this couldn't happen without the association. For the first time, government took a very, very tough decision, sir. A decision that is leading to almost a 250 crore impact on us.
It is now almost 2 o'clock. In exercise of Rule 11, I will extend the House, sitting of the House for today till 3 p.m. You may please continue.
So there's a last point, so I will not take much time. And it's not that I was waiting for 2 o'clock. I was going as per the points only. So therefore, sir, I want to conclude by saying that about the education, that there is no such thought process in our mind. Our teachers are absolutely one of the most important stakeholders for us, and it is our duty to work together with them to ensure that we are able to take our society and our state forward, sir. So regarding all the other points, as I said, I have tried my best to clarify all the issues. The honorable member has raised many issues, sir, and especially the concerns, sir, I think in general have been that private sector is coming in, outside investment is coming in, and trying to take over. So this misconception must be removed, sir. Sir, for any state, any country to move forward, you need investment from outside. That is what growth is. Investment happens, growth happens when investment takes place. So therefore, we have to get investments. So that's how things move forward. So many questions were raised about, companies like Shree Cement coming in. So Shree Cement today is the second largest cement company in the country. They're the second largest in the country. And they're a very known organization throughout the world, and especially in the eastern region. So a company of that stature today is wanting to come in and invest in our state. I think, sir, it's a great plus for us that we should look at the aspects of all the different aspects and ensure that we get investments like these that are coming in. Now, obviously, sir, when this happens, there are concerns. It does not mean that we are going to bulldoze any concern. It does not mean that we are going to not follow any rules or regulations. We must follow all the rules. We must follow all the regulations, sir. And so, in fact, even in this issue, there are a lot of concerns that are being raised about the public hearing. Sir, in large number of these public hearing cases, in the past also we have seen that apart from the local people who are involved in the public hearing, there is always a tendency for people all the way from other districts, faraway districts, to come in and be part of the public hearing. So the public hearing is meant for the stakeholders and meant for the landowners and the people in that surrounding areas, sir. And these were the challenges that took place even with the hearing of Shuh Cement. But at the same time, there were challenges like this happening for all public hearings. And we've seen this happening quite some time, sir. And just to share with the House, sir, that we have also decided that since the concerns are there, we have put up a fact-finding committee to look into all the concerns that are there, that are raised in this regarding in regards to the public hearing of the Shree Cement. And we will ensure that we go into all the different aspects and concerns that are being raised by the people. But I think as a larger note, sir, as I said, investment is what we require. And therefore, whatever the areas are there, obviously, as I said, there's a procedure for every aspect. Everything that we do is based on procedures, sir. So therefore, we will have to follow those procedures. One cannot bypass those procedures. So to say that we as a government are just simply going for, creating an opportunity for outsiders to come in and invest is giving the image that we are trying to just sell our land or sell things away. It doesn't work like that, sir. That's not the intention of our government. The intention of our government is to bring in investment, because it is with investment and industrial growth and economic growth that jobs are created. So while we bring in investment from outside, yes, we need to protect our people, we need to protect our environment. There are measures for it. There are procedures for it. And that's what we should stick to and follow. But simply to say that we don't want any investment from outside, we don't want any economic development from outside, and yet we say we want the jobs, is being, completely, you're not having the same, you're contradicting yourself, sir. So therefore, you cannot contradict yourself by saying that we don't want investment, but we want the jobs. We don't want investments, but we want to, see that our state moves forward. So there are balances and checks and balances that we need to maintain. That is what we've been doing. We've been working towards that. And as I said, sir, that yes, there have been many points that have been mentioned. I have tried to clarify all the points. It's a very long agenda that was mentioned. As far as possible, sir, I have tried to clarify all the issues. And of course, sir, we'll have more occasions in the future also if they need to discuss any further issue. And with these few clarifications, sir, I hope that I have been able to satisfy the honourable mover of the short duration discussion, sir. And with that, I resume my seat. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Iperti yang tau ke Iwan, kuwi ke perom, kuah kenai pi.
Ivan,ไปคอนแรมกว่าลายสกุลมั้งคนตอนฉันแน่พลังนี่ทำเป็นบทเองกินหลอกพา
บนเส้นกิบรุงจุกลีพาเกียงตั้งกี่ขมัดพร้อมชนะยี่หยอกพยได้
còn Ivan ông rồi cái bên husu cái gram mò tao đã bốn cái gram tem etir đi pi tao con đây nè
ya khi biểu ngài nên mà em khi mà vào đây tâm anh em già hết
em sẽ là ngâm sang kêu vào cậu
Tapi ni perdi yang pi ke kuat ulai ni training ke boleh benai ni mata bau Shna bau sain suruh.
ngaku ai amalai
Tang hikai ni suruh ya gini perlok dewa hikai ko nongkong daga simple design go ar dau hikai daga design mana je dia kan ga simple design.
Gini ke check tu ram sorkar mah.
Kamu dah terang la duk mesin dia sikit dah kamu kuat.